Hello, this is Kara in Boston. I am coming to you today to talk about a movie called Women Talking. And I saw this film last night, and I have to say that it was just an amazing film. The women in it were just beautiful, and it was well done. It's not your typical movie. I felt like it was more documentary-esque in the sense that we were kind of watching this bit of the life of these Mennonite women who are being abused, both physically, mentally. Yeah. So if you have an essay aversion, this movie would be triggering, so you may not want to watch this video, nor may you want to go see the movie. But I have to tell you that I thought it was amazingly done, and all of the women in it just really captured my heart, and I just really kind of felt for them and what was going on and the tough decision that they had to make.
Why does love, the absence of love, the end of love, the need for love, result in so much violence?
It was all waiting to happen before it happened. You could look back and follow the breadcrumbs along the path that led to violence. When we looked back, it had been everywhere.
It is a part of our faith to forgive. We would be forced to leave the colonies if we do not forgive these men.
None of you will listen to reason.
We know that we've not imagined these attacks. We know that we are bruised and terrified.
Hope for the unknown is good. It is better than hatred of the familiar. And we cannot endure any more violence.
We have been preyed upon like animals. Maybe we should respond like animals.
How would you feel if in your entire life it never mattered what you thought? When we've liberated ourselves, we will have to ask ourselves who we are.
All right, so that was the trailer for the movie, and as you can see, it's quite stunning cinematography-wise. It was done in a very it was very dark because they live in a community with no electricity, so it was all natural lighting, and just the way it wove together the story of what the women were going through, and then they would kind of fade into the girls playing and just showing the innocence of these girls and what was at risk here for them if they stayed. And I also really enjoyed how they would also show the boys in school, because of course they were allowed to be educated, and they would talk about them and was there redemption there. Clearly, one of the girls is pregnant by an assault, and one woman is saying, like, how can you love this child? And she's like, I'm sure that this child is as pure, in God's eyes as these men were when they were born. And it's the community, it's the situation that they are put into that has caused this this issue amongst the divide amongst the men and the women and the way they're treated. And this is all based on a true story. The women in question were from Bolivia, so this was a community that was going on there. I do believe that 8 of the men who were charged and are serving sentences or were serving sentences. I'm not sure exactly when this took place. The movie makes it seem like it's 2010 because there is a census truck that comes around at some point, which gives you the insight of when this takes place. So this is not 100 years ago. This is modern day stuff, and it's still kind of going on in ways around the country. Women are still seen as second class citizens. Their bodies are still considered property. And so this was a very poignant subject to go over in this movie, and I thought it was just beautifully done. I'm interested in getting the book, because the women at first, they are being knocked out with like a horse tranquilizer, so they don't see the men. Clearly for the men, this is an animalistic act, because the women are clearly passed out. They are told that it is the devil. They are told they're hallucinating. There was a lot of gaslighting going on. The men were saying, oh no, this is the devil that's come to see you, and that's where these bruises come from, and that's how you became pregnant or whatever, trying to deny the fact that it's them, until one of the women catches, I guess she maybe wakes up in the midst and sees the face of one of her attackers. And in the movie, they say that he then divulges who the others were, who were responsible. But again, that's a question. The women have a question of, is it true? Like, could he have been lying? And were these men really the responsible party? And is it fair to cause them further harm if they were in fact innocent? It's a really interesting look at what is justice, and how do we find justice for what has been done. So I highly recommend the movie. If you have not seen it, or if you were on the fence about seeing it, I say yes. Frances McDormand was great. Her part is actually fairly small in this movie, but the impact of her and her family and what happens speaks volumes. So I recommend seeing it.